Hey guys, so as you can see, my nose is pretty much back to normal. Looks the same, except for now I can breathe out of both nostrils really well. I actually didn't realize that the doctor left these giant plastic stents in my nose. So for the past week, I haven't had any sense of smell or anything. And it was so weird to be able to breathe through your nose, but not smell anything. But he pulled it out, and now I can smell everything, and it's a whole new world of smells for me. Anyway, on to today's video. This video is going to be how I live frugally or cheaply in Korea. I've actually become pretty darn good at living on a tight budget. It's something that I grew up doing. We never really shopped at nicer stores as a kid because I'm one of four. We would shop at Goodwill a lot, so I got very good at thrift shopping. We would shop at Walmart to get our jeans and clothes, or I would get hand-me-downs from my older sister or cousins. So it wasn't like I grew up fancy schmancy to begin with, and I carried on that tradition and that lifestyle when I came to Seoul. The first one is going to be food. For a lot of people in the States, usually the cheapest way to live is to cook for yourself. I found that that is not actually the case in Korea, or if you do want to do it that way, you have to do it in a very specific way. So in the past, I've pretty much eaten a lot of kimbap jjanguk, which is like this very cheap kind of traditional Korean food chain. It's all over Seoul. You can pretty much find them near every subway station. They're very popular. And I find the ajumas there and the workers there in general are very nice, very friendly to talk to you if you want to practice your Korean. And I would totally recommend it. It's not the greatest food in the world. It's not organic and certified healthy, but it gets the job done. And it's something like maybe if you want order a stew, my personal favorite is doenjanjjigae. And if I order doenjanjjigae, it's about 6,000 won. So that's probably more like $5.50 in the States. And you get sides of kimchi, you'll get like a fried egg on the side, and a couple of other sides usually. It's definitely enough to fill me up. So I really used to love that place. Recently, I've been trying to get a little bit healthier, not so much with weight concerns, but with general health concerns. So I've been cooking at home. I find the best way to do this is to cook in bulk. So if you want to cook at home, I like to make a chili on Sundays, and that lasts me for basically dinner every single day. Or I could make a couple of things, maybe some doenjanjjigae for myself and a chili, put them in large Tupperware containers and kind of swap out what I want. And every once in a while, if I get bored, I'll go out and get some kimbap or something like that. My second tip is to go secondhand, and this is gonna go into multiple of my other few tips. But secondhand in Korea is definitely a growing trend. When I first got here, I felt like it wasn't that easy to find secondhand stores, or the selection wasn't that great. But recently, I feel like Koreans are getting more onto the bandwagon of recycling clothing or hand-me-downs, so it's a lot easier to find things. The first example of this would be flea markets. I remember when I first came here, I lived in Indakwon. I had no idea that there was actually a flea market 2 subway stops away from me in Bumgae every single Saturday in summer and fall months. And it took me actually moving to Bumgae and having a view of the park where the flea market was for me to realize that it was even a thing. So if you wanted to ask your Korean friends or maybe Google online, you can find the bigger flea markets. The local ones, you're gonna have to use Naver, and you might need a little bit of Korean to find them, so I suggest asking a friend if your Korean is not that great. But they can be really great finds. The only thing about it is you don't really know what sizes you're gonna find, so if you're bigger or taller like me, you might have a difficult time finding sizes that fit you, and there's no way of really trying it on. So it's not my favorite way of doing things, and it's not my favorite way of buying appliances because you can't plug them in, you don't know if they work or not. And also you have to barter, so that's something that's like my biggest fear in the world is I hate bartering. So I don't usually go to flea markets for those reasons, but I found some really cool things at flea markets. I got a laptop bag case that would normally be like $30 for like $5. I got a really cute pair of American flag shorts from a Korean girl, and she was like, "Where are you from?" And I was like, "America." So obviously that was like entertaining that I was buying these shorts from a Korean girl. I was like, welcome home, American flag shorts. You're gonna be happy with me. And I had to just eyeball it and hope that they fit. Luckily they did. My third tip, and this goes with secondhand, is to go to actual secondhand shops. I actually prefer this one over the flea market, and my favorite secondhand shop right now is Vin Prime. I pretty much get most of my clothing from them now because I really, really like that place. It is kind of quirky in a way because if it doesn't come from a very well-known brand, it's very reasonably priced. We're talking like $15 for a winter coat. And if you're good with fabrics and you're good with stitches, then you kind of can look at it and know if it's gonna be warm or not. And that's kind of cool. So as long as you're experienced, it can go really, really well for you. The only thing is if it has a brand name to it, specifically with jackets and coats, they charge a lot. Like I have never seen numbers like this. I'm talking you could get like an Yves Saint Laurent coat at this place for like maybe $200. Obviously it'd be a lot more expensive if you bought it brand new, but for me, for secondhand, that's a bit exorbitant. But if you're into that kind of thing, you can find it there. Now personally, there are many different branches around Seoul. I've been to the Gangnam branch, the Express Bus Terminal branch, and the Sarang branch. My personal favorite has always been the Sarang branch. I've actually gone to Express Bus Terminal a couple times now and I haven't seen it, so I don't know if they're renovating or if it moved, but I wouldn't suggest going there right now because it's just not there. And the Gangnam one is usually picked dry, which is kind of a thrift store thing. They put out clothes in the morning, so if you can't get there until later in the afternoon or after work, you are probably not gonna be able to find anything that great. But Sarang seems to be just out of the way enough, but still connected to Seoul that you can find really cool things for great prices. So I totally suggest going to that one specifically. It's in the subway station, so you actually have to swipe your card to get to it, but I love it. I actually got this shirt there and it is Ralph Lauren and I only got it for like $20, I think. So that to me makes a lot of sense. So you can find really cool things there if you look carefully. The fourth thing you can find all year round, but I find it does work especially in certain seasons, particularly in late winter or in late summer. Usually all of the teachers in Korea, if they're not renewing their contract, they leave. And what do they do with all of the stuff that they've accumulated? They sell at secondhand discount. So I always, and right now especially, I'm watching Facebook groups like teaching in Korea groups and teaching in Seoul groups for any kind of deals as people move out. I'm watching Craigslist. And the best thing about this one specifically is you can usually negotiate with the person to get it down a little bit. And since you're usually picking it up at their house, you can plug it in to make sure it works. And number 5, this one's pretty much for fashion, but I guess you could do like Daiso versions and stuff as well. This one is just going to cheap stores in general. So there are a lot of underground subway shopping areas where you can find really, really cheap clothing, kind of fast fashion. If you're concerned about your carbon footprint or buying fast fashion things that are just gonna go out of style or supporting sweatshops, I do not suggest doing this. But if you're looking for something trendy and you don't want to spend a lot of money because you know it's not going to be popular next year, then you can go to like the Anyang Underground Market or the Gangnam Underground Market or Dongdaemun if you like bargaining, which I do not. And you can get literally like crop tops for 5,000 won. I mean, it's really, really cheap. The only thing is they're not made very well, so they will unravel on you, probably a couple of washes. So that's why I say go there for trends or fast fashion, things that you don't plan on using for years to come because they're probably not gonna last that long. Oh, Iwa also has a lot of fast fashion if you're interested. So those are my 5 tips for living frugally or more cheaply in Korea. Is there anything that you guys do to live cheaply? Put it down below. I read the comments. I love hearing your inputs. I love your faces, and I'll see y'all next week, okay?